Hey there, SSJ here with an updated deck profile for my counter Watts. I've been playing this deck for years and I thought I'd bring you a 2017 update. That's right, it's 2017 and people are still using Watts. No Watt Hopper here, this deck is focused on getting those direct attacks in, getting those free pluses with Cobra and Seahorse, and using the other Watts and the traps to stun the opponent and break up their combos. Remember, when the Watts were first released, they were the quintessential, if not underpowered, stun archetype. So this harkens all the way back to that. I'm going to assume that you can read the card effects, so I can just discuss them. Starting with 3 Cobra, obviously getting a free Watt with each direct attack is amazing, and the real double threat with Cobra is that the longer it stays on the field, the more free cards I get from the same Cobra. So protecting Cobra is worth it, and it puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. The other MVP is Watt Draft, because when it lands a direct attack, my opponent basically just puts their cards down and goes to get a drink or goes to the bathroom. I'll let them know when my turn is done. I can go to main phase 2 and Xyz summon, destroy their stuff. I can stay in battle phase and use my other direct attackers to attack things like Burning Abyss, and nothing's going to happen. Draft really shuts the opponent down like nothing else does. I'll talk for a minute about Pheasant. The effect does help once in a while. It can take an Xyz material off of something, whatever. It's really here because the deck seems to function a lot better with a 7th direct attacker. I've played a lot with it, a lot without it. It functions better with it. It also helps for Cobra to have one more Watt to target, so that way I don't have to be in a situation where I'm going to pull too many copies of Watt Draft out of the deck and then not have enough targets for Thunder Seahorse in my hand. Speaking of which, Seahorse, no-brainer. Ma-Hunter, sometimes I do need to get into my extra deck. The Watts are not especially fast when it comes to that, but Ma-Hunter brings them that speed, and the fact that it's a Seahorse target means that I can get it whenever I want. Honest and Recycling Batteries are no-brainers here. A word on Space Typhoon, I do know that Twin Twisters exists, and I do know that I have plenty of ways to get cards into my hand to discard for it. There's just better things to do with those cards. I've tried Twin Twisters. It's not terrible, but Space Typhoon is better for me in this deck. We got some standard traps, and I do need to talk about Floodgate Trap Hole and Quaking Air Force, because these are the best 2 things to happen to Watts in years. Possibly the only 2 things to happen to Watts in years. But the ability to flip your opponent's monster face down and keep it that way is lethal with Watts, because the Watts are just going to attack directly over it. I'm never going to flip that monster back up. I'm never going to put it in the graveyard, and I'm never going to free up your monster zone. So when these cards put your monster face down, it's down for the count. The Watts are never going to let you get it back. I've tried each of these cards at fewer copies, but 3 of each has been amazing. We got Solemn Strike, Black Horn of Heaven, Divine Wrath. I used to run 3 of Black Horn, 3 of Divine Wrath. Then Strike came along and did the job better, but I do keep 1 copy of Divine Wrath because it not only negates and not only is a counter trap, but it takes the monster off the field, and that's something that Breakthrough Skill and the other trap monster negation doesn't do. For Watts, it's worth it because they don't take monsters off the field, and the more I can do that, the more I can land direct attacks and let the Watts do their thing. And finally, Threatening Roar. I know it's a -1. This card has been a staple in Watts for years. The -1 is just worth it when the Watts get to do their thing more and attack directly more. It helps me set things up. It helps break up the opponent's momentum when I can steal their battle phase from them right at the last second. And it's chainable. So I'm really at very little risk. It's very consistent. I'm going to fly through the extra deck, mainly just talk about a few highlights. Black Ship of Corn is important sometimes, because the Watts have low attack, and sometimes I'm all out of attacks for the turn, and the opponent has less than 1,000 life points, so I can steal the duel from them with Black Ship of Corn. It's also helpful that it takes a monster off the field, because the Watts don't really do that otherwise. That's why I'm running 101 in 2017, and not 1 but 2 copies of Castel, although I rarely go into both. Finally, Gaga Cowboy, probably my most common Xyz summon, just for that 800 damage. Of course, it can steal the duel, but it can also put the opponent from a comfortable position into a lethal zone where now they have 1,200 or less, or 1,000 or less, and now they're in trouble because I've got a Watt in my hand. So I'm just about out of time for this recording. Any comments, questions, post them below. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.